Kim Church, and you're watching Experience TV. We are the place to be to create exceptional guest experiences. Listen to this statistic. It's quite interesting. Did you know that a 10% increase in customer retention actually equals a 30% increase in your company's value? Think about that for a moment. Customer loyalty and repeat customers have never been more important than they are today. So how do you do that? Well, guess what? Brian Church, author of Relationship Momentum and the best-selling book, The Experience, is here to help us with different, simple, easy ways to retain our customers. Brian, you're the author of Relationship Momentum and the best-selling book, The Experience. I want to talk, first of all, where did your love of relationship building begin?
Well, there has to be a cause and effect reason for everything that happens, okay? And usually there's a set system of laws that govern not only physics in the universe, but also govern the laws of relationships and momentum therein. And so I really have worked hard to become a student of how a relationship is galvanized and what are those specific inflection points that allow a relational event, whatever that event is, to take place. Sometimes that event is for a hospital to have a successful discharge where the person is healthy and doesn't have to come back. Sometimes it's a date. Sometimes it's a sale of a product.
Right.
It could be a lot of different things, but make no mistake, every one of these things are all because of a relational component that came together in really a system of inflection points that allowed the relationship to galvanize and an event to take place. But there is a cause and effect reason for why these happen, and I was just in search of it. And I kind of stumbled into Newtonian physics to solve the first part of that. And it's funny, I failed physics in high school, so I'm not a smart man, but I like A plus B equals C type equations to explain things. And so that's the reason.
Nice. Now, in the book, The Experience, you talk about the 5 levels of service. Can you kind of elaborate on what they are and what exactly do they mean?
Yeah, and we didn't come up with this out of thin air. So this came from my co-author and I actually worked with Vanderbilt University and a group of great young people that surveyed over 500 different companies of the Fortune 500 and what we like to call the Family 500. So these are not big companies, closely held businesses. And out of that 500, it's kind of sad, but out of the 5 layers that we've created, which I'll tell you are toxic, average, good, great, and then exceptional. But over 60% of the companies that we looked into and we surveyed are operating at an average or a toxic level.
Wow.
So toxic is number 1, and that's just flat out bad experiences, bad shows, they like to call it at Disney. But then average is just meh, nothing special at all. And you know what? The worst thing in the world that you can do, sometimes even toxic is more acceptable than average, because what average is, it's complacency. It's no intentionality whatsoever. And the worst thing that you can ever do to somebody, or the worst emotion on earth, is not necessarily hate. It's what? It's apathy.
Right.
And so that's what average is. Good is that you're on your way to somewhere, but there's nothing galvanized whatsoever. There's nothing that you would even remotely come close to confusing as a codified experience. That's a pleasant one. So they're on their way there, but they're looking to break through. But then the great ones, they're doing a very good job, but there's usually something missing there from the top of the organization to the bottom, where they have that set of non-negotiables that everyone understands, and they're probably not measuring their success. So there's really no way for those people to tell if they're making a difference in the experience or not. But then there's the exceptional. And the exceptional is something that is awe-inspiring. It's beautiful when it comes together. It's codified, it's galvanized, and it creates an amazing experience. It's something, we call the exceptional experience. It's when people just feel that they are ordained to go tell the world about the experience that they just had.
Right. So probably all the business owners watching, all the managers, they're like, we want to be a 4 and a 5, but we have no idea what level our guest experience is. How do you find out what your guest experience level is?
Well, shameless plug here. I would go to experiencequotient.com.
Right. Okay.
So this is an algorithm that the founders of our company, Experience International, put together. And this algorithm, so it's a fancy word for math tool or assessment. There's a system of questions that you go through that are very easy to answer. It doesn't take a long time, but you'll get a score and then a full analysis on the items that you need to be paying attention to and to work on.
Okay.
So you can test a recent experience or you can test your specific organization. It's at experiencequotient.com. And best of all, it's 100% free.
Awesome. And one final question today. I want to ask you, could you just give me a couple tips on how a company can build a loyal customer base?
Yeah. Well, first off, just like we were talking about with experiencequotient.com, you've got to have a point of origin, Kim. You've got to know where you are. If you don't know where your current customer service or customer experience, internal employee experience and employee engagement, if you don't know where those things are, you don't know where to go from there. So the second thing that you want to do is to be able to find and put together a strategy where you are incorporating non-negotiables. These are the things that the people within the organization are coming together and locking arms and agreeing on a set of standards on where to go. So a point of origin, then a plan to get there, but then you've got to have quick wins. And so what we like to always say is three things: make it simple, make it repeatable, scalable, so you can put it, and use it throughout the organization, but most of all, make it measurable. And that's what's great. That's what we do at Experience International. Is we don't just help people build experiences that are based on their foundation and what makes them great as a company, but we're going to help them through analytics continue to test it and understand where they are and where they need to go from here.
Right. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's it for today's show. I'm Kim Church. You've been watching Experience TV. I'll see you next week with a brand new show.